When Imran Khan started his political innings to gain popularity and to make headlines, he resorted to a trump card. When he raced to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan in 2018, he resorted to the same trump card. And now, in 2022, when he is close to losing his chair and power, he has done it all over again. And that trump card for the Pakistan Prime Minister is Kashmir. Imran Khan is facing a massive revolt. He is possibly staring at an exit from power. The number of lawmakers drifting away from the PTI only increasing with each passing day. Imran Khan resorted to warnings and threats to stop the defectors. But when nothing helped, he is back to raising Kashmir. This time at the OIC, Council of Foreign Ministers, which is underway in Islamabad. While speaking about the need to tackle Islamophobia, Imran Khan attempted to equate the Palestine crisis with Kashmir. This is what he said.
One is Palestine and the other is Kashmir. Honorable Foreign Ministers, we have failed both the Palestinians and the people of Kashmir. I'm sad to say that we have been able to make no impact at all. They don't take us seriously on core issues. I am asking the OIC that unless we have a united front, we will keep these abuses will happen.
The crucial OIC meeting coming at the beginning of a week that could decide Imran Khan's political future. He is walking on thin ice and is very close to failing as a national leader. But ignoring the domestic political crisis, Imran Khan chose to project himself as the voice of the Muslim world. Calling the OIC a divided house, Imran Khan said that 1.5 billion Muslims have failed to solve the issue of Kashmir and Palestine.
We are a divided house, and those powers know it. We are 1.5 billion people, and yet our voice to stop this blatant injustice is insignificant. We are not talking about conquering some country. We're simply talking about the human rights of the people of Kashmir and Palestine.
Imran Khan's rant on Kashmir at the OIC is certainly not new. In December last year, he called on the OIC member states to formulate a unified response on Kashmir. But this year, in attendance at the OIC meeting was the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, a special guest for this meeting. But Imran Khan cannot afford to go against Pakistan's all-weather friend China, especially at a time when his political fate hangs in the balance. So he chose to stay silent on Xinjiang and the alleged human rights violations against Muslims by the Chinese government. China has been accused of committing crimes against humanity and possibly a genocide against the Uyghur population and other Muslim ethnic groups in Xinjiang. Human rights groups say over 1 million Uyghurs have been detained in camps against their will, and hundreds of thousands of them have been sentenced to imprisonment. There is also evidence of forced labor and sexual violence. But not a word from Imran Khan on the Uyghur Muslims. He did not call for OIC unity on Xinjiang. His focus remained on Kashmir, his trump card in times of trouble. And the political turmoil in Pakistan has reached the country's apex court. Stunned by the increasing number of defectors, a desperate Imran Khan has been trying to seek the Supreme Court's intervention to wriggle out of this crisis. In a petition, the PTI government has sought the Supreme Court's opinion on Article 63A of the Constitution, which deals with the disqualification of lawmakers over defection. The Imran Khan government asked the Supreme Court to advise if it could seek lifelong disqualification of the defectors from the ruling party. The top court today formed a 5-member larger bench on the matter. Names of the judges who will constitute the bench are yet to be finalized. The government's petition coming days after several PTI lawmakers who had been in hiding at the Sindh House in Islamabad revealed themselves, proving that the opposition's claims of winning some members of the ruling coalition were indeed true. As per reports, the dissident PTI lawmakers have rejected Imran Khan's offer of forgiveness and have refused to rejoin the party. Sources say the number of defectors from his party has now surged to 35. The Pakistan Supreme Court is hearing another plea. It was filed by the Supreme Court Bar Association and seeks the court's intervention to prevent anarchy ahead of the no-confidence vote. Hearing this plea, the Chief Justice of Pakistan had said that the Supreme Court has not yet been convinced to interfere in the proceedings of the National Assembly. The hearing has been adjourned till the 24th of March. Political temperatures continue to rise in Islamabad. The countdown for the no-confidence vote is on, and as the parliament session comes closer, the opposition's chances of success seem to be getting better, and the Prime Minister seems to be losing ground. The no-confidence motion debate starts on the 25th of March, and a vote is likely to take place on the 28th of March. If the no-trust resolution against the leader is passed by a majority of the total membership of the lower house, the Prime Minister will cease to hold office. And if the opposition does get support from enough number of defectors from the ruling party, the Imran Khan government will collapse. With us on the broadcast is senior journalist Ahmad Shaheen, joining us from Lahore. Ahmad, help us better understand where things stand as of now. The number of defectors from the PTI has surged to 35. The party is seeking lifelong disqualification of these defectors from the ruling party. But can it actually do that before the vote?
Yes, I think 3 days ago I was on WION and I said that the number is 36. So there's just another one who hasn't come out in the open. We know this because we have been following these turncoat politicians and we have been gathering video evidence on them, on how they sell and purchase, not all of them, but most of them, especially the ones that are leading these politicians. So it's a very fair thing to expect that these politicians, electable politicians who almost never will lose in their constituency. Now, how do you control them, prevent them from becoming this tipping power that they can create governments and break them all the time? So that is why, so that on 3 fronts, a legal battle has started. On the first front is the government, which is trying to go to the Supreme Court and talking about Article 62 and 63A. Now, what are these articles? These articles prevent people from lawmakers from, let's say, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran Khan's political party, from crossing the floor. Floor crossing is not acceptable. So they cannot vote against Imran Khan. If they do, there is a punishment for that. And the punishment is that the party, like Tehreek-e-Insaf, can decide to de-seat these politicians, meaning they'll have to win the elections again if they want to be part of the parliament. So the government is going to the Supreme Court and asking the Supreme Court to robustly, I quote them, robustly and purposefully oriented interpretation. So like they're trying to get an extra bit of juice out of the interpretation and get these people from getting disqualified for life. Although the law can only go as far as asking them to get de-seated and then they can run in the elections again. So now the legal experts are on one side, that of course something that's not written in the law cannot be just reinterpreted by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is not going to take that kind of risk and reinterpret something which isn't even there in the law. The Supreme Court may, however, give them this leverage that they gave to the Chief of Army Staff extension case, where they've asked the government to go and change the law if they want a certain kind of judgment. That's how the Chief of Army Staff got his extension of his job. So that is the most the Supreme Court can do, but it doesn't feel like the Supreme Court is actually in the mood of granting that. The Supreme Court, however, did say that even when we listen to the 62 and 63A for permanent disqualification, we need to make sure that the constitutional steps of a no confidence motion in the assembly have to be followed. You can't say that we're waiting for the outcome of this court. The constitutional steps have to be followed, but they're not being followed. The speaker is not following them so far and not giving the indication that he means to follow them. And this is the second legal front where the opposition parties, not directly through the Supreme Court Bar Association, but they are representing this narrative that the Speaker of the Assembly, whose constitutional duty it is to start the session of the no confidence motion, the Speaker is actually breaking the Constitution, and obviously Article 6, treason applies to any such person who persistently does that. So the opposition is going with their guns blazing against the government representatives. The Speaker is supposed to be neutral, but the Speaker is right now taking care of the requirements of the government. And very quickly, the third party being the Supreme Court Bar Association, that does not want the system to derail, that does not want violence as a result. So these are the legal points to battle. The legal battles are taking place.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Emma, thanks very much for joining us with those details and perspectives. Now, Imran Khan is definitely no stranger to controversy. Several times, his controversial statements have raised eyebrows across the world, drew criticism and faced immense flack on social media. Here are some of those statements.
Germany and Japan killed millions of their civilians until after the Second World War. They decided that they would have on the border region of Germany and Japan, they had joint industries.
बॉलीवुड में भी कभी आज से 30-40 साल पहले आप कभी इस तरह की फाशी नहीं देखते थे. अब वो इतना गंद आ गया है.
मुझे नहीं पता कौन सा टीका लगाया मुझे. वो टीका ऐसा लगाया कि ना मुझे तकलीफ भी खत्म हो गई, सब कुछ दुनिया बदल गई. वो जो नर्सेस थी वो मुझे हूरें नजर आनी शुरू हो गई. मैं बिलावल भुट्टो साहिबा की तरह मैं कोई कागज की पर्ची पे नहीं आया था कि जी मुझे वालदा ने जायदाद में पार्टी दे दी है. तो मैं इसलिए नहीं आया था कि टमाटर की क्या कीमत है और आलू की क्या कीमत है. मैं इसलिए आया था कि मैं पाकिस्तानियों को एक कौम बनाना चाहता था. और ये जो सोशल मीडिया है हमेशा के लिए आपके नाम के साथ लग जाएगा कि आप ज़मीर फरोश हैं. आपके लिए शादियों में जाना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. आपके बच्चों से लोग शादियां नहीं करेंगे.
We are now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.